What's up guys, my name is St-Germain and welcome again to our channel Journey to Freedom, where you can follow along on our journey to financial freedom through the worlds of Shopify and dropshipping. So make sure you subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell so that you get to know every single time we put out a brand new video like this one. So today we're going to be talking about what you need to know before you start dropshipping. Make sure you do not start until you fully understand the process that I'm going to show you, because this will really make or break your store. So let's get right into it. This is a 4-stage process that we have developed over time through our own experience over the last year and a half, that is summarizing the 4 key aspects that you need to look at as you are testing products and building your store and trying to figure out what works best for your store in order to succeed. So the 4 key aspects that you see here that will eventually lead to success on your store are: number 1, product choice; number 2, the target audience; number 3, the effectiveness of your ads; and number 4, the conversion rate of your website. So these are the 4 key links in the dropshipping process that you need to get them 100% right in order to make sure that you are succeeding in the dropshipping process. So let's go through these one by one. So the very first element that goes into success on your dropshipping store is product choice, right? The first way to ask yourself these questions is you got to think about all the different elements that are involved in each stage here, and ask yourself, are these responses, am I doing all of these things that are being asked in this stage? So when it comes to product choice, ask yourself, is the product that I'm trying working for somebody else? What do I mean by that? There are obviously tons of products on AliExpress, right? You have to understand that if you're trying a brand new product, yes, there's a chance that you may be able to succeed with it, but at the same time, it's also likely that nobody else has been able to succeed with the product. That is why it doesn't have enough orders on AliExpress, right? So when you look at the product's sales numbers or order numbers on AliExpress, that will tell you whether the product has worked for other dropshippers. So that is one starting element that you can try to focus on, right? One way to do it is try to focus on products that have 500 orders or more, because that will help you understand that this product has worked for some other dropshippers, and there is some sort of a market out there for these products. Now the second question you can ask yourself is it an eye-catching product or a problem-solving product? It has to be one of the two. There has to be some unique element about the product that catches the eye of the consumer, because they're just scrolling on their Facebook feed. And if you are selling, a basic cap, let's say, there's nothing unique about that. There's nothing that stands out about it, and there's no reason for the customer to stop scrolling and actually visit your website. So there has to be some eye-catching quality about the product, or it has to be of a problem-solving nature in some way that solves the problem that the customer currently is facing, right? So the fourth question you have to ask yourself is, does the product provide enough value for the price that you're charging for it, right? This is a very important question. Let's say you've chosen product. Now, how do you price it? Typically, we advise that you should price your product between 2.5 to 3 times the cost that you are incurring from the source supplier on AliExpress. So figure out what your cost is inclusive of shipping to the end customer, and then multiply that by 2.5 to 3 times, and that should be your rough retail price if you want to remain profitable once you account for the cost of advertising on Facebook. So at that price, the question to ask is, does the customer still see value in the product? Let's say you're selling a cap for $50 US. Now ask yourself whether it still is something that will have value at that price. Is the worth there? Whereas if you're selling it at 25, maybe it's too cheap. So it all depends. It's a balancing game between your margins and the value that the customer perceives at a certain price point. Another important point about product choice here is you need to check on Amazon for reviews and whether the product quality is strong enough for you to be selling these items. I would highly discourage you against selling low quality products that look nice, because it will create long-term problems for you. You'll get higher disputes, more chargebacks on your cards and PayPal, and that has much more longer-term implications. So make sure before you start selling any products, you are verifying the product quality by looking it up on Amazon and seeing real customer reviews to understand if customers are satisfied with the quality of these products. And lastly, you got to ask yourself whether, is it a very commonly available product? Because again, what you are offering needs to be something unique. It needs to be something that is not easily available at any corner store or Walmart, right? So it needs to have some differentiating quality that the customer doesn't think of going to Walmart when they see the product on your website, right? Hope you're finding value in the content so far, guys, and if you are, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so that you get to know every single time that we put out a brand new video. And make sure you stay till the end of this one to catch all the content, and comment below on what you like and what you'd like to hear about. Stay with us. It needs to be something unique enough for the customer to say that, hey, this is something I can probably only find on this website. So that's a good summary of the questions you need to be asking yourself when it comes to product choice. Now, coming to the next stage. Let's say you've figured out the product and you've met all these criteria. Second aspect is the target audience. What is the target audience that you are reaching out to on Facebook when you're running your ads? So the few questions you need to be asking yourself here. Are your interest and audience sizes too small, right? You need to be at least reaching out to an audience size of 3 to 5 million people, because that gives Facebook a broad enough audience to test the waters and have enough of a pool of customers to test your product with. Now, the second aspect you can ask is, have you tried very, very, very broad audience, like 100 million audience or 200 million size audiences? That's another little thing that you can try, because Facebook in the last few months or last 6 months or so has been giving a lot more preference to large, broad audiences that it can play around with, and its algorithm has lots of flexibility with. So try that if you haven't already. Try different interest categories. Again, if you have not tried enough interest categories, that is another area you need to be focusing on. And then fourthly, you need to do a bit of in-depth research into your customer avatar so that you can understand who they are and what their problems are, right? So if you're selling, let's say, a kitchen product, then understand what your customer is, who your customer is, and what kind of problems they're facing, right? So then you can target interests which are related to their interests, not just about your product, but what other areas of interest they might be having, right? So, for example, if you're selling kitchen products that solves a problem in the kitchen, one related interest could be cooking shows or recipes, right? So that's all a function of understanding who your customer is, and that will then help you to target different interest groups on Facebook for your target audience. So those questions are what you need to be asking yourself when deciding what your target audience is going to be. Coming to the third stage, the ad creative, the effectiveness of your ad. And if you ask me, this is one of the most important elements in this entire 4-stage process. You need to ask yourself all of these questions when you're evaluating your own advertisement. Are you using an effective thumbnail, right? Many times people are using video ads but not really customizing the thumbnail, and you're letting Facebook choose any automatic thumbnail from within the video ad. I would advise against that, because you want to control that aspect and tell Facebook, hey, use this customized thumbnail that highlights the product itself, let's say, or highlights a particular feature of the product that is eye-catching. Ask yourself if your ad is very spammy looking. Does it have lots of logos and white blocks of text? You need to make your ad look as professional as possible and as clean as possible. You need to ask yourself, are you showcasing some combination in your video ad of a pain point, a problem, a solution, and then reviews in that video advertisement? Because those 4 elements are important for including in your video ad. The pain point, solution, problems, and reviews. Have you tried utilizing user-generated content? This is something that's working very effectively off late in Facebook advertising, using customer-produced videos where they are sharing their experience, and with their permission, you are using that as an advertisement and an endorsement of your product. So try using that if you haven't already. And then lastly, again, coming back to Amazon reviews, if you're spending time looking through Amazon reviews, that is a great mine almost of finding different problem and pain points that the product is helping people to solve. And then you can use those pain points and problems and include them in your advertising to grab the attention of potential customers, because it's likely that everybody has similar problems that are being mentioned in the Amazon reviews. And lastly, coming to website conversion, once you've figured out the first 3 stages, the customer lands on your web page, that's when the conversion of your website comes into play. So ask yourself, is your product description page too cluttered? Is there too many things going on the product description page, which is very distracting for the customer? Are you interrupting the purchase process while the customer is reading the product description and trying to make a purchase? Are you interrupting them with a lot of pop-ups and different cross-sells and things like that? Is your page speed too slow? Use a website called GTmetrix to understand and track how long it takes for your page to load, because every single second that it takes to load your page will result in a drop-off in the conversion rate on your website. Ask yourself, are you using some GIFs to explain what the product does? Especially in the case of problem-solving the product, it can be useful to have a GIF in your product description page to explain what the product is doing. And finally, ask yourself whether your product description is focusing on just the features, or is it focusing on the emotional problem that the product helps the customer solve. The key point is you need to be focusing on the emotional side of things. Don't just list the features of the product, but talk about the different problems that the product solves for the customer. So once you have answered all these questions, it is more than likely that you'll land on a winning solution, right? You'll never be 100% in each of these areas, but over time, as you ask yourself these questions, it gives you the chance to improve each stage of the process, right? It gets you closer to finding that product and ad combination that brings you sustained success. So once all these stages are working, that is when you're ready to scale further, right? So for scaling, we talk about different aspects here. Once your initial interests are showing some promise, that's when you add related interest and you scale horizontally, right? You duplicate the interest and add related interest to those ad sets and scale horizontally. Make sure as you start growing, you're monitoring your return on ad spend to make sure that you still remain profitable. Most of the time, as you try to scale on Facebook, your return on ad spend can drop. So make sure you keep an eye on that. Start researching complementary products that can then help you to increase the average order value. So once you've figured out the first product that is working and it's getting some traction, then right away, start investing time in looking for complementary products that you can cross-sell, upsell through funnels, so that overall your average order value increases for every customer that lands on your store. Start testing multiple new creatives, right? As you grow, as you scale, the biggest factor becomes the effectiveness of your creative and whether you have enough variations in your creative and video ads to be able to feed Facebook and the growth of your campaigns. So start preparing new video ads right away if you're seeing some initial success in a product. Another key point here is as you evaluate the ad performance, make sure you're not thinking very short term. Don't react based on 1 day's data or half a day's worth of data. Make sure you're looking at data over 3 days or 5 days at a time, and then making decisions based on that, because Facebook performance can be quite volatile day to day. So make sure you're looking at least a 3-day time horizon when you make decisions on which ad sets to stop and which ones to scale up. And finally, you can always duplicate successful ad sets into a CBO campaign, a campaign budget optimization campaign that Facebook has been pushing a lot. And many people have seen good results with a CBO campaign. So duplicate your most successful ad sets into a CBO campaign and let it run. Assign a larger budget to it and let it scale and give it a few days to produce results before you decide what to do with it. So these are some of the tactics that you can use once you're ready to scale a product and once you've gone through all 4 stages of the process to find that initial product that gives you some success on your dropshipping store. So I hope you guys found some value in this video. If you did, drop us a like, drop us a comment as well, and let us know what you liked about the video, what you thought about our 4-stage process, and if you feel any elements that could be useful to add on to our framework here. Let us know in the comments, and we'll catch you in the next video.